to the On Faith podcast. I'm Hussein, and I couldn't be more excited to take you on this incredible journey today, where we uncover life-changing stories of Christian salvation, one powerful testimony at a time. Today, we are on Tuesday, and you know that the podcast is live. And if you tune in, thank you so much. We have a guest. Our guest is special because she has a very interesting testimony, which I'm honored. I'm delighted to have her on the podcast. And she's called Sandra. So Sandra, can you introduce yourself?
Hello, thank you for having me here. So my name is Sandra Impano, as you said. I am 23. I am Rwandan. And I love the Lord. Jesus is my best friend, and I am really pleased to be here.
Lovely. Mm-hmm. Thank you so much for introducing yourself. As you say that Jesus is your friend, tell us, what was your life before Jesus became your friend?
So my life before Christ was before I became 15, because when I became 15, that's when I would say that I received Christ. So my life before that was, I can remember the girl that I was before encountering my Savior. And that girl, she was a little girl who was insecure and who always wanted to fit in, who wanted what other teenage girls want, to be beautiful, to be accepted, and to have people that love her around. Exactly. And I felt like I didn't have that, and that was such a lie, because it's not that I wasn't enough. I was always enough, but I never knew the truth.
Yeah.
So before that, I didn't know, but after Jesus, he put me on the journey of knowing who I am, and I love who I am.
Lovely. You love who you are, and thanks to Jesus for that he covers it with his blood. And so I want to know, what was the turning point? Because it sounds interesting how you get from that point where you felt like you weren't enough to being enough. So what was that turning point?
So the turning point, as I said, was at 15, but I think the turning point was when, like, searching for that acceptance, I was, it was basically something that I was searching in the wrong places. And those places that I was searching in, it was never there to cover what my heart really desired. But I never knew that I could call on Jesus. I thought that God was just a God that we go to church, and we just go to church on Sunday. I have parents who pray, but I just thought that it's just a God who's just there, and he doesn't really care about my teenage problems or my small problems. So I was like, you know what? It's just God watching, like, big problems. This is not like a problem that he should be concerned about. And I had tried all the, not like all the things, but I had tried things to just make myself feel like I could be accepted, but nothing worked. And then one day, I was in a very dark place. I remember I was alone. I have like a beautiful family that loves me, but still in that phase of growing up, as like maybe at school, I was always like, I felt like I was alone, even if I was with people. So I was like, Jesus, help me. I didn't know exactly what I was doing. I just said, Jesus, if you can fix this situation, then you really care about me. But I just said, Jesus, please fix this situation. And he helped me that situation. And I'm here. I think that was a turning point. And I remember there was like a picture that I saved from the internet. It said, start with Jesus, stay with Jesus, and end with Jesus. I didn't know how to pray.
Lovely.
Yeah, I didn't know how to pray back then. So that was my prayer every morning. I start with Jesus, stay with Jesus, and end with Jesus. And that was it. Yeah.
And with those threes, start with Jesus, stay with Jesus, and end with Jesus, how did that help you as a person navigating the world? You were young and you came to light. So how?
So as I said, I was having a rough time at school. So I would say this. I'm starting with Jesus. So if I'm starting with Jesus, I'm gonna have, my faith was really little at that time, but I would say maybe I'm gonna have a good day. Stay with Jesus.
Yeah.
I will go at school and I'll be like, Jesus is with me one way or another.
Yeah.
However this day is gonna end, and ending with Jesus, I will go home and I will be like, okay, at least I was with Jesus. I just ended my day with Jesus, and that was how I got through all those dark days at school that I
Yeah.
was feeling really lonely. Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for sharing that, because I think it's not easy when people are going through a rough time, not even when you're kids, but even when you're an adult, because there are things that you go through and they'll be like, okay, how can this be reverted? How can Jesus be part of this? And sometimes even our faith is little.
Oh,
But you,
yes.
as a little girl as you were, being able to have Jesus encounter like that, it's amazing.
Which
it's
is
beautiful.
surprising, because I really thought I was going to accept Jesus when I'm like 50 on my,
Yes, exactly.
on my,
Look
when
at
I have
us.
diabetes or something, you know. But God had other plans. I don't know how He chose a 14-year-old girl.
I think you are very lucky.
Yeah, I really think so.
Yeah, because I mean, I accepted Christ when I will talk about this in the next episode.
Yeah.
So they have to stay tuned.
Stay tuned, guys.
Yeah. So going forward, what were the things that you can say that knowing Christ and working in a Jesus Christ way, or having a like mind of Jesus, how did that help you? I mean, what are the key changes that you can say this changed because I accepted Christ?
Yes. So I think, first of all, Christ is the way, the truth, and the life.
Exactly.
I think people don't know that is actually something that defines our life. He is the life, He's the truth, and He is the way to
I'm
even
sorry to cut you
everything.
short.
Yes.
That is a very interesting biblical verse that I think people will never take, with a pinch
That
of salt.
seriously, yeah.
Yeah, they don't. So how can you take it that serious? So now you're answering the first question and going to that as well.
Yes. So basically, before Christ, I didn't know the truth. How can you know the truth if you don't know the truth? Like,
Exactly.
how can you know yourself without knowing who God says you are, who your Creator says you are?
Yeah.
He knows you more than your parents. He knows you more
True.
than your friends. He knows you more than you know yourself.
True.
So how can you know who you are or feel enough if you don't know what God says about you?
Exactly.
So I didn't know the truth, but the more I got to know Jesus, and I'm not saying that when I received Christ, one day I woke up and I was like, yes, I'm this phenomenal woman who's on fire, No,
Yeah.
It was a journey. Each day He reminded me how much I was loved, and each day He would put people in my life that reminded me of how worthy I am. Because when you believe for a long time that you're not worthy, it's hard to accept that. It's hard to
Yeah.
accept when a friend is there and you're like, oh, I'm really her friend, she really chose me, or she's just here for just a short time,
Yeah.
I would always have that fear. I'll be like, oh, it's just a matter of time, and then they hurt me, like maybe other
exactly.
people hurt me,
Yeah.
But he took me on a journey where my heart was like so hard, and He softened that heart for me to even give love to other people.
Oh my God, that's beautiful.
Like to give love to my friends. Like I
Yeah.
love my friends so much. I think they know
Yeah.
that. I love my family so much. I have a lot of love in me. I know that.
Yeah.
So but I think that was Jesus, because before I was like, oh, okay, I wasn't a bad person, but I wasn't filled with this much love.
Yeah.
So I think when I received Christ, He made me know who I was, and the more I knew, the more I was like, oh, even these people who are lost, they're not bad people. They're just not healed.
Yeah.
And I think people we always like get mad at people and I don't know if I'm really answering your question, but we always like blame the people, but you don't know their story. Like you don't know what made them angry. You don't know what made them jealous of you. So it's the spirit behind all those things,
Yeah.
So I got to know that is the truth, that I'm not against people and people are not against me. It's the devil that's using those people that use that dark moment at school to come at me. But God had another plan. He was like, this girl is going through this, but I know she's gonna use this for a good, like a good reason or a good purpose that I have for her.
Yeah.
And with God, I even had to have confidence in myself. I feel like a lot of people think that I'm very confident, which is really good.
Yeah.
I'm confident in the Lord, first of all. But before, they don't know that I was, like I said, a very insecure girl. Like, I don't know how to say this, but I was very insecure. I didn't even think that I could take a picture and it would be pretty. Like, it was just, I had just that thing that the devil had put in me that was telling me, you're not enough. Who do you think you are, you know?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of girls, I don't know about men, but I feel like a lot of girls, like, feel that thing in their hearts.
Yeah.
And I had a time of me feeling it. And I had a time of God delivering me from that, because either people affirm me or not, I know what God said about me. You know,
Exactly.
I know I'm the daughter of the Lord. First of all, I know that I'm beautifully and wonderfully made, like David said it in Psalms. I know that I'm here for a purpose. Either I died today or tomorrow, my purpose was fulfilled. You know.
Yeah.
So I think that was basically the truth that I got to know. That
Yeah. So there's something. So apparently, that verse changed your life as well. But so, how could a verse, or how could you? What would you tell a person who is struggling with accepting some Bible verses, or how can they live that particular verses? Because I'm sure the people who have those, really bad moments.
Oh yes.
And they can't even relate to the scriptures, or they say, "Oh, this is written by men." Okay, I don't approve, but some people would say that.
You know, I always say that even if God didn't exist, that book of the Bible aligns your life in a very good way.
Exactly.
He tells you not to steal. He tells you not to be angry, and that is a beautiful life actually that He's telling you to live.
Yeah.
So even if God wasn't there, that book is a book of life.
Yeah.
So I know that people tend to not believe because of maybe their background, and I'm not judging them, but I hope that one day the Holy Spirit can actually visit them, like He visited you and me, and that He makes them know the real truth. Because all the people have their truth that they're comfortable with, but there is a Bible verse that says that there is a way that looks right to the man, that looks right to the man, but leads them to death. So we all have truth that we feel like are comfortable, you know.
Yeah.
But they're gonna end up harming us, you know. But I think that those people who don't believe, I hope that, because I know that maybe I cannot change them, but God can. But God can change them. So I hope that one day God can make that verse really engrave that verse in their head, or whatever verse may work with whatever situation they're in, to make a change in their life.
Exactly. So now going forward, do you have like victories and challenges that you've overcome because of Jesus?
Oh yes, I think my life is full of. I always talk about faith because my life is full of miracles. Honestly, people may see me and think that maybe I'm it's people don't know what people go through.
Yeah, people have battles.
They do.
Yeah.
They do. You know, we're all on social media, and you think people live like good lives or perfect life, but there is nothing like a perfect life.
Exactly.
But if I said that every challenge that I was in, Jesus came through.
Okay,
everything.
So do you mind sharing maybe two or one?
Yes, sure. Let me think. I have a lot now that I don't even know which one to.
It's alright.
So I would maybe share. Let me say maybe me finding a school in the university.
Okay.
So I had applied to a lot of schools in Canada. I would get the schools. I didn't even know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But I would always get a denied to Canada.
Don't tell me.
Yes. And I even stayed here for a year because I couldn't find a school. People don't know, but now you guys know.
So you after getting those no's.
Oh yes, my faith was shaking, but I was praying a lot.
Yeah.
I was praying a lot, and I'm grateful for the time that I spent waiting for that, because God worked on my character.
Oh yeah.
He really did work on
Humbling
my.
you a bit.
Oh yes, he did, and even making me more like have more faith in him, because faith is really needed in this life.
Exactly.
So I got a lot of no's. Oh my goodness, I can't even count them.
Was it because of financial,
No,
or
like,
because of the paperwork?
You know, surprisingly, everything was in order. But
Financial papers.
yes,
All things
I was
paid
ready
for.
to go study, but nothing was working.
That
and-
was right of. It is called spirit of delay.
Oh yes, I bet it is. But it worked for my good, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything actually that is so everything works, whether bad or good, works for our own benefits actually.
Oh yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah. For those who love the Lord, yes, it does.
Yeah.
So I remember I did. I prayed a lot, and then one day I got this. My friend helped me apply for this school in America, in the
Yeah.
United States. But then like those things you don't even think that are gonna work. You just like, let me just keep it there in my closet. Like, let me just keep it there. I didn't even know where the school, like the application of the school was, honestly, or the how do you call that? The I-20 of the school was, and but it was always there, and I was ignoring it. And then one day I was like, you know what? I'm gonna apply for this. Like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna apply for this, and I really had lost hope, honestly.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and I had spent a year there, so I was like, I'm gonna spend another year here, and then another year.
Yeah.
And then I applied, and when I went to apply, there is this guy that was applying for the visa, and then he told me, honestly speaking, I don't think you're gonna get it because you're late. And then I was like, you know what? I have nothing to lose.
They didn't know the man that you carry in your heart.
Yeah, exactly. And I you know, like that point you get to, and then you're like, I don't even have anything to lose. Let me just apply, you know? Yeah. And I applied. And you know, the miraculous thing that happened, I applied maybe on Saturday. They gave me an appointment that was really
Visa
late.
appointment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was really late. And then they changed my appointment to a really close date. So I went to the interview so basically I applied like maybe on Monday again. I went to the interview on Thursday, and I got my visa on Friday. So I got my visa in 1 week.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That was good.
That was a miracle. Like 1 week, honestly.
It never happens.
Right? Like, how?
They will give you a month or 3.
I think God had seen that I had waited for a long time. I was like, this girl needs to be saved.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that was like one of the miraculous things that happened to me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you know, as a Christian, I believe you do read the Bible, and there are verses that helps you constantly.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and if yes, can you share them with us?
Yes, I love Isaiah 43:1.
What does it say?
It says, I think, do not be afraid, Israel. I have called you by my name. You are mine.
Good, lovely.
Yeah, I think.
So whoever is listening to us, I think they need to reflect on that, because Jesus, God, called us by our name.
Oh yes.
Yeah, and we are the chosen one.
Yeah. And we are his, and we have a home. Like, we are his, you know.
Yeah.
There is a home to come back to when you're sad. There is a home to come back to.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I think some people they do need to reflect on that. Speaking to me as well, because I know there's this time when you are going through rough time, and you can't actually get the spiritual courage or to navigate that.
Definitely.
But when you get a scripture, like I always get revelation when I'm working through things, and I don't know where to go. God gave me a revelation, and that is one of the gifts that I'm really thankful to God.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So talking about gifts, is there a gift that came with salvation that you would like to share with us?
Yes. So I definitely, I didn't think, accepting Jesus, you don't know if there is more, but there is always more.
Yes.
So as I got to grow up, I know maybe a lot of people don't believe in this, but now I do. I do believe in that. So I would dream things and then they would happen.
Oh,
But then I would be like, maybe we talked about this. I know, like,
yeah.
it's a random thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I dreamt of this like 3 months ago. And this person is going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And it was like really mind blowing. And I had to know that that was a gift that God gave me to see. I wouldn't say to see the future. I think they say prophesy. Is it prophecy?
Prophecies.
Yeah, prophecies. So yes, I think I got that gift of like I even I'm a very sleepy person. So sometimes I tell my friends that I have a mission to go to. Yeah.
So you were the verso. So when you're sleeping,
yeah, he's like, go to sleep, you know.
Go to sleep, and then I show you things, and they'll tell my people.
Yes.
Oh, please, next time, do tell me about it as well.
Oh yes, definitely. So sometimes I do have visions, and I know that they're coming from God. I pray about them.
Yeah.
When I feel I have to tell the person, I do, but it's not to scare them, I think God always tells His children because He wants to warn them, or He wants to bless them, and there may be something in front of them, so they're like, He's like, please pray about this. So I think
As we wrap up, actually, I would love you to share a thought or two, and share the Bible verses that you think these people who are listening to us, whether a believer or an unbeliever who happens to stumble on this podcast, and maybe would help them come to Jesus. And those who are with Jesus, how can now better walk with Jesus?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, the first point, maybe I can just talk to the ones that are already saved. I would tell them that the more you spend time with God, the more you're gonna let go of the old ways, and it doesn't happen in one instant. I want them to be really patient with the Lord and with themselves, but to always spend time with God, because that's where your life is gonna change, because that's where He's gonna tell you who you are. Because I think there are a lot of Christians who don't know who they are. There are a lot of Christians who are still living in resentment, who are living in any addiction, and they're like, why isn't this happening? I think the more you spend more time with God, the more even that power is detaching from you, because the devil is scared of God. The devil is not really scared of you. He's scared of the God in you. Yeah. So I think people just twist that. The more you detach yourself from Jesus, that's when He attacks. But when you're with Jesus, it's gonna break eventually. So keep on knowing God, and I want them to know that it's a relationship. It's a relationship. They need to make time for God, and they need to know their Lord, because the Lord is active and is present and is alive. And for the people who are not saved, or who did you say about that I share some Bible verses?
Yes. That can help either a believer or an unbeliever.
So first of all, the verse that keeps me going is, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That verse tells you that whatever you're going through, you can overcome that. And I also believe in that verse that we talked about. Jesus is the truth, the way, and the life. I don't know exactly the lines or where to find them, but I know that those are verses they should search for. I'm not really good with remembering lines. And also, there is this verse that Paul says that he learned to live with plenty and with an empty stomach. I think, and I think that's very powerful, because people can think that an empty stomach is when you're struggling, but you can also have a lot and be overwhelmed.
Exactly.
You can have a lot of stress. You can have a lot of things that come from a lot. You know.
That's what is happening in this world.
Exactly, I know, right?
Yeah.
So I think that is such a peaceful verse to know that either I have a lot or either have nothing. I can do a lot through Christ, not through themselves. Through Christ who strengthens them. What is another verse? I think Isaiah as well, 43:1 is a great one.
That one is powerful, actually. I think I'm going to start reading that one.
Oh, yes. Isaiah is very powerful.
Yeah. So as we wrap up again, I would love to thank all listeners who have joined us today. and thanking you for joining us on this podcast. And I would like to take the time and thank everyone who join us, for people who are very hungry for inspiration, searching for guidance, or just need a reminder of God's unstoppable love. This is the podcast that you go to. Thank you so much for coming.
Yes, of course. I'm very honored. Thank you so much for considering me.
And I hope next time when I call you, you will answer.
What? Yes.
I mean, I think this podcast is going to help people. And may Jesus give us the strength to keep on recording more.
Yeah, I might be sleeping,
Yeah.
but hearing from the Lord. But yes, definitely, I'll come back.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you so much, Sandra. Next time. Bye.
Yes, bye.